Niche deals can change your life and change your life quickly. In this video, I talk with one of my niche community students who has made $350,000 on their first two deals. The first one was a $180,000 assignment that he found out of foreclosure. And in this particular video, he's found a seller that wants to sell a house to him subto with $170,000 in equity. So in this video, I go over with him every aspect of the subto documents, how to present that to the seller, and then he ended up going and meeting that seller and locking the deal up. So again, take a look at this video. So much information in terms of how to present a subto deal to a seller, and hopefully unlock in your mind that big profits are right around the corner if you get niche. You focus on these direct to motivation deals. Enjoy.
Hey, Michael, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. Apparently you're doing pretty good.
Man, I don't know if I'm getting lucky or my prayers are working. I don't know what's going on, man, but here I am back again. We're doing it for the second time now.
Love it, love it. Well, catch me up to speed on this one. How can I help?
So, yes, thank you, first of all, for hopping on a call for me. I'll make it short and sweet. That way, just straight to the point. This was the house I was talking about on Facebook, the message thread. And then this is the one you said, just go ahead and just door knock them again.
Yeah.
And man, I tried texting, I tried calling, I tried emailing. None of those worked. I hit him up on a door knock, and there he was, ready to go. So I was like, man, I should just listen to Michael. Let the professionals be the professionals.
There you go.
But anyways, if you do you want the address real quick?
Yeah, we can do that.
It's 4020. It was off the niche data list. I don't know if that helps you or doesn't help you, but
let's see. I'm gonna look it up. Don't mind my incredibly cluttered desktop. It's embarrassing.
oh no, man, you're good. Are you kidding me? You're a busy guy. That's it.
In home?
Yep.
Heck yeah.
So
tell me about the appointment and kind of what the seller's thinking.
most certainly. So I first time around, I met them, and the gentleman that owned the home stepped outside, and we just talked in the garage. We just met and said, hey, my name's Landon. I deal with foreclosures in the area. I see you have an auction day coming up on the 9th of next month. I said, you got that taken care of by chance? He said, honestly, man, I am a realtor. My mom's a realtor, but we don't know nothing about these foreclosures. I'm like, well, I'm glad we're talking. And I said, well, me and my team, I've kind of been leaning on the team aspect of it and just kind of using that credibility, like you said. I said, well, my team and I have been stopping foreclosures for a couple of years now. We've done over 500 total. And I said, I'm sure we can help you out. And then from there, he said, okay, sounds good. Let's meet up tomorrow at 1. Perfect. Then didn't hear back from him. I texted him, called him, and then I reached back out to you. And I was just like, hey, man, what do you think we should do? He said, just go ahead and door knock him again. And I got the opportunity to do that yesterday. The gentleman said he doesn't want his family to know because he says that as a man, we should be responsible for that. And I said, listen, I respect that, but just keep in open communication with me so we can just go ahead and get to a solution as soon as possible. And then we met at a coffee shop today, and I walked him through the 5 options. I said, hey, number 1, your best option is going to be to reinstate the loan. Do you have any family? Do you have any friends? Do you have any whatever? Just walk him through the options like you preach. And I was like, halfway through, I was like, honestly, man, I'm not really here to make a bunch of money off you. I said, what's in a perfect world, what would you like to do? Just at the end of the day, whether we do business or don't, what would be the most awesome outcome for you and your family? And he said, man, if I could, he's like, I'm not looking to make any money on this thing. He said, if I could just stay in a home and just occupy it and pay you rent and just to get out of this foreclosure situation, I'd be tickled to death. I said, man, I think we can make that happen. So it's going to be a subject to, never done one of these.
Yep.
I'm sure this one's got a ton of potential, but I didn't want to move any more forward until I talked to you first.
Awesome. Well, what we can do, it's awesome that you were able to solve their problem at a high level, but now it just comes down to executing on it. So we can go over the subto documents and you can see what those look like. I'm going to kind of go through them as if I'm you.
Okay.
Going
perfect.
through it with the seller, if that makes sense.
Even better. That's perfect.
All right. Okay. So you have three different documents. You've got the purchase agreement, sub 2. You've got what's called the sub 2 addendum. And then you have the limited power of attorney. So let's go ahead and go through actually the purchase contract. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so this is your purchase agreement for sub 2. Again, sub 2 just means that I'm catching the arrears, the amount that you're behind up. I'm taking ownership of the property, but the loan stays in your name. Okay,
Right.
so you'll go ahead and fill out the address and the legal description, all this stuff beforehand. And I'll email all these over to you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Then down here, this is where you're going to want him to have a mortgage statement. So before your next appointment, have him create or have a recent mortgage statement there. There's going to be a principal balance somewhere on that mortgage statement, whatever it might be. You're going to put that right here. Again, you don't know exactly what they owe or what the principal is, but that mortgage statement's pretty close. Again, you're approximating, what that first mortgage is. Okay, if they happen to have a second mortgage or anything like that, you would put it here. Okay, again, if you're giving him any cash at closing, which it sounds like you're not,
Right.
But if you were, you would put that amount right here. It would probably be an exact amount, 5K, 10K, 1K, whatever it is, you would put it there. And if there were any arrears, if you know exactly how far behind they are, $6, $10, $25,000, whatever it is, you would put that here, and you're going to label that arrears.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to put a total purchase price, your principal plus your arrears plus any cash to the seller at closing. And that's going to be an approximate amount. You're just kind of guessing, right?
Sure.
Okay. Then of course you're going to put your closing date, your title company, anything like that. You'll put your seller information here. Again, right now I'm talking to you as if you're filling out this document, but here in a second I'll go into a mode of kind of what I would say if I was presenting that to the seller. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm going to kind of go into explain to seller mode. All right.
Okay.
So this is a sub 2 agreement. Again, I'm taking ownership of the house. You're not going to have to pay for any of those arrears. I'll take care of that. And then we're going to come up with the ability for you to stay here in the home with your family. That way, not much changes. So in terms of the amount of money you have to bring to closing, it's absolutely zero. I'm going to pay for all the escrow fees, title policy, any type of HOA transfer fee. If there's any type of fees, I'm taking care of that as well as the amount that you're behind. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, in this agreement, there's a couple of different documents. There's the purchase agreement, which we're going over. There is the subject to addendum that we're going to go over here in a second that kind of just lays out what subject to is and what you should expect. This is going to be really important to you, the post-closing possession addendum. This gives you the right to be here after I close on the house. So I don't want you to be worrying that I'm going to close on the house and leave you high and dry. Hey, you're going to have the legal right to be here before we close.
Right.
Okay? And this next section is additional terms. So here in a little bit, we're going to talk about, what your rent might be, how long you're going to be here, if you have the right to buy it back, any of those types of things. We'll lay out those terms right here in this section. Okay. And then of course, you're going to care about your occupancy. You want the right to be here. So I understand that this property is going to be leased and that the tenant may continue in possession of the property after closing. Okay.
Okay.
So this next section, again, this is a great document to read. If you're wanting to go to sleep at night, it'll bore you to tears, right? So all this section is about if I'm going to do inspections, things like that. Again, I've looked at the house with you today. I'm good with it. We can move forward, but a lot of that language is in here. So if you want to read through this, please, it'll bore you to tears, but you're going to get a copy of this today. This section talks about inspection period. Again, I'm good with it. I'm buying it as it sits. And this section talks about how we would split up closing costs. Again, like a few pages ago, I'm taking care of all of the closing costs and any type of title fees, you have no dollars out of pocket to close on the house.
Right.
Okay. This section, again, is a bunch of legalese. Feel free to read through it. There is a section here that you should be aware of. Let's say, for whatever reason, I take over the loan, okay, I reinstate it, and maybe a couple years from now, I get abducted by aliens, or the good Lord takes me home, whatever it might be, and all of my backup plans fail and I fail to make payments. What happens in that situation? Well, in that situation, I have brought the house current years ago. I have probably done some repairs on the home. Maybe the house has appreciated a little bit. In that situation, the house would be deeded back to you and it would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
In that situation, they will kind of laugh and be like, well, I don't want you to die or get abducted by aliens. And you kind of ha ha ha. And then you move right past that. It's the same exact thing for every single seller.
Okay.
Okay. Again, this is all just legalese. Feel free to read that when you're really bored.
Sure.
Okay. And this ends the first contract. Okay. So then you will go into contract number 2. Contract number 2 is your subto addendum. Okay. This is a document that just goes through exactly what subto is and what to expect. Okay, so I would breeze through all of this and just tell them that you want them to see the disclosures, right?
Sure.
So again, you're going to go through each one of these. They've got to sign them and understand that they're going into a subto agreement. So
Sure.
I just want you to know that once we close subto, you have no further ownership or control over the property. Any amount that I bring to the table in terms of bringing the house current, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever it is, it's not a loan to you. You don't have to repay it. This is an investment on my end. Okay. And I also need you to be aware that the existing loan is not paid in full. It's staying in place. That loan is what I'm buying. So I'll continue to make the payments on it, but that loan is not paid off. Now, earlier we talked about if I were to pass away or get abducted by aliens or something crazy happened and I didn't make payments, you would have continuing liability on the property. It won't happen, but if for whatever reason that happened and you did not make payments on the property, we would loop right back into this foreclosure event that we're dealing with right now. Again, this won't happen, but I just have to make you aware that it's a possibility. Okay. Now this will stay on your credit in terms of your debt to income. So down the road, you might want to, buy a car or get an apartment. It is going to show up on your credit, but after I make 12 consecutive payments, I can contact your lender and we can get about 80% of that debt to income removed off your credit. That way, if you wanted to buy something down the road, this property is not going to be a hindrance for you.
Okay.
Okay. Then in a very rare case, there's a situation called a due on sale clause. I would say this happens on maybe 1 in 500 subto situations, to where maybe you have a small bank, a credit union, something like that. At times they'll see something like, oh, well, the property transferred from Joe Blow to Michael Frankie. What is going on there? Well, I'm going to call the loan due. Well, what would I do in that situation? That's really rare. I would just pay off the house and we'd be good. Okay. This agreement also allows me to file insurance claims. So if for whatever reason a tree fell on the house, a tornado knocked it down, whatever the case may be, it allows me to contact the insurance company and file an insurance claim. Okay. Now, we do have to maintain the property insurance that's in place. So this is saying that you're not going to go talk to State Farm and try to cancel your insurance that's in place. Again, I'm paying for all of your payment, which includes your insurance every month. So we need to keep that in place. Okay. And then this is just acknowledging that we've gone through all these disclosures. Any questions on this? They may have a question or two about something like this. And then you overcome those objections. Sure. Okay. So this is number 2. The last, yeah, go ahead.
Question, just real quick. So this gentleman said he didn't want to make any money on the deal. He just was like, I'm cool with breaking even. He said, now I wanted to run this by you and maybe you can help guide me in the right direction here. And I just pretty much said, yeah, we'll work something out and just kind of left it open-ended. Um, but he said he owns a business. Right now, times are tough for everyone, and his business isn't doing as well as he thought it would. And his wife also runs a business. Anyways, he said it would be a huge help if I could stay here for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years seems kind of like a long time to me, especially with somebody that's in foreclosure. So like they obviously kind of fell short. And what's to say that it doesn't happen again? What would you recommend as far as handling that?
So you really need to be upfront with these situations. In these conversations, if they're wanting to stay, I often will go into what their income is. Maybe they've lost their job and they couldn't pay for a while, but maybe they got the job back. They
Sure.
really need to prove to you that they can in fact make the payments.
Right.
And just be upfront with them. Look, I am here to serve you. I'm here to help your family stay in place. The last thing on planet Earth I want to have happen is you to fall behind on payments. Because while I care about you and I want to serve you, I can't be a charity, right? I've got to
Right. Right.
serve my own family. I can't just keep making these payments on the house for free. So
Right.
really dive into their financial situation.
Okay.
Make sure it's something that they can do. If they can prove, yes, I can make
Like
the
they can make
payments,
X amount of
go
dollars.
ahead and write that up. If for whatever reason it's very clear that no money is coming their way, you can do one of two things. If they can't do it, I would try to make that term that they're in the house much shorter,
Sure.
3, 6 months, something like that. And then I would give them a cash incentive on top that maybe once they vacate, I'll give you 10, 20,000 bucks, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Just yeah.
Another option might be that you agree on some sort of rent, and maybe you give them that cash up front, but that cash immediately funnels back to you to pay for the
Right.
rent.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But this is something that you're going to have to really trust your gut on
Sure.
these people. They're either someone that's really responsible, they're going to handle it, or they're going to be someone that you're clawing tooth and nail to get their rent every month. You
Sure.
really don't want to do that because
Right.
you help them out at the beginning, but then you seem like the bad guy down the road when they can't afford the rent, and then you've got
Hmm.
to take action because we can't just be a charity. So
Right.
really spend some time on that conversation on qualifying them.
Okay.
Um,
I,
be
I
there to
I
help
wasn't
you
sure
with
how
it.
you would handle it. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
So let me go over the last document here.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. I didn't mean to off
No,
track
you're
there.
good. Very good questions. Okay, the last document is called a durable limited power of attorney. This document will need to be notarized. Okay, what
Okay.
does this document do? Because people will freak out when they see limited power of attorney. Just let them
Right.
know, hey, this is a limited power of attorney, but it only applies to this property. Has nothing to do with your health, nothing to do with your finances, anything like that. All this allows me to do is make decisions on this property like you do. So for
Hmm.
example, I can speak to the lender freely. I can speak to the insurance agent freely. It just allows me to make decisions on the property. And
Sure.
generally, they're going to be good with that. This is usually a second appointment, unless you can get them to go to like a FedEx that has some sort of notary present. Uh,
Sure.
but you'll need to get this notarized.
Okay. That's not too hard at all. I mean, I'm a realtor, so I do this type of stuff on a regular anyways. So it's just a different document. I'm gonna probably just read through it, rewatch our recording, and just kind of maybe jot some notes down along the way or something, and just get
So
this.
it's super simple. It seems complex, but
Sure.
again, you're trying to give them a cursory glance, give them education on it, but do not be like a lawyer to where you're just trying to go line by line. I
Right.
try to
Right.
skip through the boring stuff. It's like, read this stuff at night before to bed. It'll put you to sleep. And they just kind of laugh and like, oh, yeah.
Right.
And then they just move right on. You're not trying to get anything by them.
Sure.
It's just a lot. You don't need to, it's a 23-page document. You don't need to go through every line.
I,
Um,
I, would you take on a deal like this? Is this a solid deal in your book?
Break down the numbers for me.
So, okay, let me log into the data real quick. I'm on my laptop. Let me log into my actual computer.
Hmm.
It'll take it a second. And I got this window right here, and every single time I
Yeah,
talk,
blinding you, right?
I got a blind on this side, but I don't have a blind on this side. It's just goodness. All right, give me a second. Let it load up. Here, actually, I'll just do it on my computer. It's taking a little bit longer than I expected. So let's see here. I got okay. The niche data that I'm with. So estimated available equity says 169. The estimate says 270. I'm thinking it's worth around 300.
Hmm.
I think this estimate's a little bit off. Um, but it says it has 170 grand worth of equity. Um, it says estimated loan balance about 90,000
Okay.
and it's worth 300,000. This
Yeah. So I mean,
270
that's
on
a
Zillow,
great
but
deal.
that's a
Um,
good one.
what's the payments on it? Do you know? Have you seen his mortgage statement?
Not yet. I asked him for one, but he's kind of in between jobs and trying to do a bunch of stuff. So he's just like, I'll get it to you sometime as soon as possible. So,
Yeah. So
uh,
sometimes they don't have one.
okay.
Oftentimes they will have an online portal that they can log into where they can check out payment history and stuff like that.
Oh, even
So
better.
definitely you want to get that. That way you're aware of what the monthly payment is moving forward once you take it subject to. You're aware of, oh, you're $22,000 behind. Okay. I'm gonna have to
Right.
bring that as a reinstatement number.
Hmm.
Then you're able to, once you know what that monthly payment is, establish what their rent needs to be.
Right.
Now, you need their rent to be a little bit more than that monthly payment
Sure.
because you're going to have to take out insurance of your own.
Hmm.
Maybe you want to hire a property manager to mess with it. Maybe there are some repairs that need to be done while they're there. Like for instance, if an AC goes out or a roof goes out, you want a little bit of margin to where that can maybe offset a little bit of
Sure.
your
Sure.
expense, but you need to be aware that those things can happen. So these deals are really good. You get a bunch of equity, but imagine a year goes by, 18 months goes by. Maybe they miss a couple payments, maybe an AC goes down. Those are the types of situations that can create a cash flow problem,
Sure.
even if you have a ton of equity in the
Hmm.
property. So you've got to be able to account for those things.
Most certainly. So say hypothetically the payment's like $1,000. Well,
Mhm.
where would you ask them to be at to move
Probably,
forward?
probably about 1250. That
1250.
would, I'm not trying to make money on that. It's
Sure.
just like, oh, insurance is $100 a month.
Yeah.
Property manager might be $100 a month, whatever it might be. And then maybe a little bit of buffer. I would let them know, like, I'm breaking even on
Mhm. Yeah,
this.
I'm not
I'm
making a
not
penny
making
on
any
it right
money.
now.
So my goal is not to make money on it, but they'll understand.
Yeah, yeah. No, Michael, I was so shocked when I got done, like I got to I didn't get to bankruptcy or anything like that yet. And I was just like, I just stopped in the middle of the conversation and said, hey, what works for you? And they will tell you what works for them, you
Yeah.
know? And we have options that work for them if they want to stay in the home, if they want to leave the home. I mean, there's options there. And I mean, he was almost crying. And
Hmm.
I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm about to cry with you. Like, this is insane. Like, what? I was like, wow, man, it's insane.
Oh, these deals can change other people's life. They can change our life. That's why I love doing them.
I mean, I know your story is like incredible, but I don't know anybody else is doing it at your level.
There are
Genuinely.
other people that are doing it at a high level, 15, 20, 25 deals a month all
Sure.
over the place. A lot of them don't take the approach that I do, right?
Sure.
They're more cutthroat, will do anything and everything to do a
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
So there's probably very few people that do it at the level I do it, plus treat people like real human beings, right?
And I could just feel your genuinity through the screen, man. I can tell you're not on some BS. You're not trying to scam people. You're like the amount of genuine that's coming out of every single time you talk is just insane. Like you could just feel it through the screen. Like, hey, this guy cares. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that level. I really am, but it'll take
Well,
time.
you're already there, man. Deal number two, and we're like huge grand slams every time. So teach me your ways. Goodness.
No, shoot, man. No, never that. Like I said, I will be coming to you for many years to come, I hope. And just learning everything I can and just applying it and just keep it rolling, man. I told my team lead With the little team I'm on, I made like 30 grand the month before without the foreclosure sale. And I pretty much sent them a picture of the check, like, hey, thinking they would be excited, but they weren't excited. They were kind of like upset about it. I'm just like, you guys can learn from me. I'd love to teach you what I do. And they just
Yeah.
took the I'm upset route. So I was just like, okay, well, it is what it is.
Good deal, man. Well, if you need anything on that deal, shoot me a text. Happy to help. They may have an objection or two that you
Sure.
might struggle with. If those come across, just let me know and I can help out.
That'd be amazing if you could just do me a favor and send those 3 documents that you talked about, and maybe just even a recording of this would be more than appreciated. And then I'll just keep you posted as to what kind of comes from here.
I will do it, man. All right.
Awesome, man.
Talk to you
Thank you
later.
so much, Michael. You're awesome, man.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Have a
Bye.
good weekend, man.
So that is my sub 2 student. His name is Landon Hiles. He started real estate a handful of months ago. He found his first foreclosure deal probably 3 weeks ago. Assigned that house for $180,000. Now he's back on the streets again. Found another property seller wants to sell it subject to him with $170,000 in equity. Guys, these niche deals can change your life and change your life quick. Are you always going to get whale of a deal like Landon? No. But it is very possible to get $20, $30, $40, $50,000 deals. And we all know that for a lot of us, that is life-changing money. So if you want to learn about how to do these niche deals, go check out the links down in the description, getnichenow.com. We have a community of people nationwide that are going deep on this topic and really learning their craft in terms of knowing how to speak to sellers, how to overcome their objections, how to stop foreclosure sales and solve their problems, how to build a team around you to where you can get to the point where you're doing 1, 2, 3, 5, 20 plus deals a month in your market, depending on what you want your business to look like. So if this has been valuable to you, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.